The podcast you're about to hear was made with Anchor. Make your own podcast for free at anchor.fm.
What do you do when you realize you've been playing small? Welcome to Business Mindset Mastery. Hi there, I'm Heather Gray, a mindset coach over at ChooseToHaveItAll.com, and welcome to the Mindset Lab. Here's today's question. Hey there, Heather. I didn't even know I had a question, but as I think about it, I'm going to toss this your way. This morning in my prayer and meditation journaling time, I came to the realization that I've been hiding and playing small. How do I get over this fear of being more visible? Should I dip my toe into the water in safer havens, like with friends that are business owners? How do I become more vocal in a way that feels most authentic? That's such a hard question, and I'm so glad you asked it. Thanks for reaching out. Here's the thing. You already did the hardest part. You already took ownership with yourself and accepted responsibility for showing up in a way that isn't going to show up for your business and for the goals and the dreams that you have for yourself. You've already done the first step. Now we have to focus on what do you do next? After you've had that moment of ownership, after you realize you've been playing small and you kind of catch yourself caught in the fear trap of not wanting to show up and appearing a certain way to other people, wondering what you have to say that's different from what anyone else would have to say, why people should listen to you instead of somebody else. Those are the types of questions that keep people from speaking out and speaking up because they feel as though their voice and their message is just going to be lost in a sea of crowded space. Now, here's the thing. Once you decide that you want to show up more, that you want to stand up for yourself and let people know who you are, what you do, and how you serve, everything that comes next is largely your decision. One of the things that I keep hearing about, and I think that there's a lot of confusion in the online space and the messaging around this, is people seem to be selling this concept and idea that there's only one way to do these things. That like you have to get online and then you get a website and then you get on all the social media platforms and you say all the things to all the people and you start a Facebook group and you start doing Facebook Lives and then you do Instagram stories and then you get on Pinterest, and it's completely overwhelming trying to figure out in a crazy crowded noisy space how do you want to show up when everyone's telling you that you have to do all the things, and they're specifically telling you how you have to show up with authenticity and then with video. It can get really nerve-wracking. So what I want to encourage you to do here is to shut out the noise. Stop listening to all of the people telling you what you should be doing and ask yourself, now that I've owned that I need to show up differently, how do I want to show up? What part of this is in my control? With all the ways that showing up can happen through, I'm doing it right now through podcasting on Anchor FM, or you can do it through Facebook or social media channels, or you could write a blog post and let yourself be known on larger media sites. And there's ways offline that you can get known for your online business. With all of the ways that there are to show up, what attracts you naturally? What are you most likely to be drawn to? What do you find the most compelling? If you can figure out in the crazy, crowded, noisy space how you're most comfortable showing up, you go and do that. So for you, if you're feeling timid and you're unsure, would you be comfortable answering people's questions, kind of like I'm doing on this show? Would you be comfortable, letting people in the local area know what you're doing and how you serve and kind of market like it's 1999 a little bit? But when you tune into you and what you prefer and what you feel like would set you most up for success, what answers come to you? I'm going to dive a little bit deeper next. If you get really still with yourself and you start to think about the options that are before you, What comes to mind? In the past, when you've had no problem putting yourself out there, what sort of things did you think about? What did you consider? What do you see other people doing that kind of draws you in a little bit? If you could ignore the noise of should, is there a way in this crazy crowded space that you're already a little drawn to? And can you show up consistently in that one way? Now, you've been listening to me for a little over a week and a half on this podcast. And so you're learning that one of the ways that I'm learning and trying things out is simply by showing up every day. I don't know that I'd recommend it to everyone. It's been a little nerve-wracking at times, but I do know that when we say we've been wanting to do something for so long and we've been hesitant on taking action and dragging our heels, one of the ways to just get going, once we realize we've been playing small and we need to start moving, one of the ways to do it is to pick one thing and do it consistently. So you could start pitching yourself to podcasts, to be a podcast guest. You could start pitching material to online publications. You could start letting local businesses know what you are all about, what you're offering, who you are, and then you can go from there. Now, you asked at the end of the question, do I just dip my toe in? Do I play it safe? If that's what's going to get you going, yes. But when I started Anchor FM, I have to tell you that it got easier because I knew I was largely doing it for people that weren't familiar with me. I was going to promote it and tell people about it, but I wasn't really trying to, sort of tell people who already know what a good podcast is supposed to sound like that I was doing one, because I felt like that would slow me down. I felt more set up for success if I kind of just quietly did it, shared it with a couple of people. I've largely been talking about it in my own Facebook group so that way the community can learn from my experience, but I'm not like shouting it from the rooftops. Sometimes I'll decide who my people are, and my 5 trusted advisors, usually I try for 3, but I think the common number that people toss out there is 5, so you can go between 3 and 5. But who are the people that will give you an honest opinion, that understand that support doesn't just mean saying yes, good job, that good support means giving critical feedback? Finding the people who, if you try something new, you can put in front of them and they'll give you the feedback and they'll help you get better and grow bigger into yourself. And how do you set yourself up for success with that? And that's by choosing your people, choosing your pace and your timing, and recognizing that you get to decide what happens next. I think the other part is recognizing and owning that in order for our dreams to come true, showing up for them is non-negotiable. We simply cannot get to where we want to go by just dipping toes in the water. We can start there, but at some point in time, we're going to have to put on our big girl and boy pants, pull them up by our bootstraps, and get going on it. And so when you decide your course of action, set yourself up for success by doing it in a way that is consistent with your personality type, that if you need support of friends, give them a heads up, tell them you're about to do it. Whatever you can look back on at times when you have been afraid or nervous and you showed up and you did what needed to get done, think back to that and do that. Because when you set yourself up for success, you respect who you are and how you move through the world, you can accomplish the next goal with your next step. That's how it happens each and every time. I hope this helps. And if you listening have a question and you want my take on your mindset query, certainly send me an email over at heather@choosetohaveitall.com and I'll get right back to you. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great day.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.